YouTube. Well, today we're at Diesel Kid's shop, and the last time we built a shorty, didn't get too in depth. He says he's not going to be impatient this time, so hopefully I can record most of the process. So let's get into it. So the first process in building a shorty, you buy a single cab long box, which is what this is. This one's going to be slammed. It's going to be a dually, so this is a two-wheel drive truck. So the second process, well, obviously we got to cut this yet, but then you buy quad cab short bed. We'll get into that later. Now Matt is going to show us what needs to be cut.
What we're gonna do first is we gotta get rid of the back half of this frame. So you're gonna come over here. We are gonna be cutting the frame about right there. So we gotta get rid of our fuel line, our fuel return line, our brake line, and then we're gonna undo our harness and tuck it back with this frame because we're gonna be using that on the other one. So what I'm gonna do is, last time I cut and built that shorty, I cut them too close up here, and they were always in the way when I was doing a lot of grinding. So I'm gonna cut them further up so I don't have anything complicating me when I go to put the lines back on. But I'm grinding the frame rails down for the inserts and doing a lot of cleanup. So we're gonna get to that, cutting these up front, tucking the line back. We gotta undo the drive shaft, cut the muffler, and we'll get back to you when we start doing that.
Another thing to think about in these trucks, being 20 plus years old, they like to rot out right here on the passenger side. You can see it's starting back here, and obviously that's bad up there. So thankfully, well, obviously we were getting rid of here-ish.
Up here.
Up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting rid of it. So
when we mate the frames back together, these are inserts that I made. They are 1/4-inch plate, 2x2 tubing that I cut in half, welded the plate on the outside. These slide inside the frame. So these will slide inside, they'll be welded all the way around, and then I had some 1/4-inch fish plates made. These are 6 inches by 12 inches, 2 4-inch holes, and this is the exact same process that we did on that truck. And
so I'm gonna take a grinder, cut those lines, safety first.
Oh my god, it's diesel fuel!
Fuck, that's the wrong one!
Oops. Well, my phone wasn't out. Matt already got the front body mount out.
This thing's too fucking heavy. I need a different adapter. So what we're doing now is we're loosening up the 2 back cab mount bolts. We're taking them out so we can get the harness off that goes in the driver wheel well here. This is your harness for your brake lights, your fuel tank, and all that. We can't get it out here unless we jack up the cab a little bit. So we gotta take out the mounts, lift the back of the cab, pull it out. We're not using this cab no more, so those can stay out until we get the front ones out, and that's what we're doing right now.
Oh, it's still bolted up here.
Oh, this one routed out.
So, truck's back on the ground now, lifting up just the rear of the cab. We don't want to take the cab off because that is our tool for aligning. So what you do is, after you cut the frame underneath the cab, these are your rear cab mounts. These go away. What happens is, when we take a quad cab short bed, we cut it underneath the back seat and use the rear cab mount off the back half of that truck. So right now we're getting ready to remove the back half of this frame. Everything is disconnected that needs to be, except for the exhaust and drive shaft. and then we will roll this out. And we already have the donor frame right here. This truck is going to be slammed, that's why it's 2-wheel drive. So to do that, you remove your leaf pack. There's like 3 spacers, blah blah blah. You use 2 leaves. What happens is the second leaf that goes underneath that, you need to take to a machine shop, or if you're talented, do it yourself. You have to drill a hole right here in the center. That is your alignment pin for your axle. And then on this one we also did drop shackles. I think these are 2-inch drop. They're just eBay specials, but we're replicating that truck essentially. So
So I gotta go pretty close to that.
So what's your jack supporting? Trans cross member?
This is, yeah. So that'll keep the cab lifted up.
Okay.
And then this one's gonna.
And then jack stand back there holds up the rear half of the frame.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
So Matt did a little bit of work when I was gone, so let's check it out. So as you can tell, he finished cutting the frame. Just sitting on the jack stand, drive shaft pulled out, muffler's cut. I think that's pretty much it. So right now, we got the skid steer in here. We're gonna pull this out. Oh yeah, the axle is also disconnected. We are going to use the dually axle for the final assembly, but for right now, the frame that's outside is just going to sit on this axle. So let's do that. E-brake cables. Okay, so the original axle is on our donor rear half of the frame. I'm literally holding it right now. Goose! So right now we're trying to figure out how Matt made 3 kids. Trying to figure out how much of the donor frame has to come off to line up that cab mount right there. Nailed it. A little persuasion. You got the driver's side insert in. You want them nice and tight, so easier to, well, not easy to put in there, but easy to hold them in place. So the passenger side, we had to cut a little far forward because we wanted to get rid of the frame rot. Downfall on that is the insert's going to be too big. We're going to have to sand it down, and that's going to be a really tight fit, but all in all, it's all going to be welded. It's all going to be fish plated. Won't see any of it. The tighter the better. Now we got both the inserts in the frame for the front half of the truck. So we're trying to line up the back half. The passenger side is slid in, so we're wrapping our ratchet strap around a couple cross members to pull the frame together, and then we were going to focus on trying to get the driver's side slid in, and then we will put another ratchet strap and slowly pull the frame until the rear cab mounts on the back half of the frame line up with the truck. So we have a very precise way of doing this, getting the frames to line up. Our straps, eye bounce, and mat tightens. Look how close the cab corners are already. Or not cab corners, cab mounts. Little love taps with the hammer, and we have the back of the frame right on. So now we're going to roll the truck out of the lift under its own weight. Nothing bracing it. It's just the inserts. We're gonna put all the cab bolts back in, make sure, double check, triple check, quadruple check everything. Put the bed on that came off of the donor truck. That's a blue, well, normal short bed. Set that on there. Make sure that the front or the center of the frame isn't sagging or anything, and then
hey, it's a roller.
Time to weld. And guess what? Officially a roller, and it's 1 mat power. So now time for some more fitment. Taking the bed in there so we can set that down and make sure all of our gaps are perfect, and then pretty much check the gap right here between the bed and cab. Make sure everything's nice and level, and then I can start welding. Kind of wish I had a tripod right now because I'm not going to be able to record this because I have to give directions. So the scary part's over. Bed is on. Actually way lighter than we thought it was going to be. Well, lighter than I thought it was going to be. Pretty sure he's pretty happy with the fitment. He's got to update all of his social medias. Not even paying attention. To work.
Oh yeah.
So we have the jack under the front half of the frame to watch this gap. If you actually watch right now, you can see that top is opening up, evening out more towards the bottom. We still have to bolt the bed on, or throw a couple bolts in it anyways, just so we know the bed is where it's supposed to be. And then we can fine tune that gap. Matt's happy with fitment. Boop. Matt's happy with fitment. My time to shine. Don't go blind. Well, she hasn't broken half yet. So my part is done for today. The inserts are welded on the outside. Matt is going to go ahead and pull the body off, and I will be back tomorrow to finish welding. So today's process is we're going to be taking the old body off. Radiator has to come out. Matt's already got it drained. Battery boxes, wiring harness, grounds, pretty much everything has to come off. We'll lift the body up, and then we have another body to put on after I finish welding fish plates. So now we're inside the truck. You have to disconnect the wiring, the main harness and stuff, and that has to go through the firewall. 06 Plus trucks, you're going to have an electronic gas pedal. We're taking the cable out because that has to go with the old harness, because this truck is an 06 and the new body is a 08, right?
Yep.
08. So you have to make sure everything is body compatible because you have cable and you have electronic depending on what year you have.
I'm doing the cab mount bolts because we're about 10 minutes away from lifting the cab.
Now for the exciting part. Finally at that stage where the body's going to start going up and nothing else is.
Here we go.
So just do little bit by little bit, make sure nothing's catching, and it'll go up. Matt's doing a little bit of cleanup, and then I'm going to jump in, do the rest of the welding, and this is going to conclude this video. We'll be back, and we will put the new cap, or come on, focus. Boop. The blue cab has to come off. You can't see me now. Blue cab has to come off. That's going to go on this frame next video, and a few little things, and hopefully next video this truck will be running as a Cummins short bed, so stay tuned.